Hello and welcome to level 7 in my Tomb Raider 3 walkthrough series. In this, in this video we'll be taking on the third level in the South Pacific area, and straight away we've got a new enemy to deal with. That's this little, I don't really know what he is, this little poison, I just call him a poison lizard, that's what he is basically. And he's got two interesting mechanics. Firstly, he can climb up walls, so there's one down here that's we're going to see climbing up in a second. So here he is. And secondly, if he gets close to you, then he will actually poison you. And yeah, obviously that's not good for our no meds run, because we have to reload the level then. So they're not too bad at the start here, because it's a nice open area, we can avoid them. But as we get through this level, we'll get into more and more enclosed spaces, and we'll have to fight more and more lizards at the same time. So it's just one thing to think about as we go through the level. Anyway, this level is quite crazy, really. It's quite, it looks absolutely massive. So I remember the first time I played this, I thought it was really, expansive and open. Obviously, I know, it's a very linear path that you have to go on, but just looking at the scenery and the sort of design that they put into this level, considering it's quite an old game, I think it's about 1997 or 1998, they did a really good job, to be honest, I think, of making this level look huge and look like an actual, real live environment. The first thing that we've got, there's two ways we can go. We can go over to this way and press a button, and that will open up a different route for us to go on, but we won't actually miss out on two secrets if we go that way. So I'll show you how to unlock that way, but I'm not actually going to use it as I wouldn't in any other sort of level guide, because I'm just trying to show you where the secrets are. So I'm not going to take a route that's going to miss out on secrets. I don't even think I'd want to do a bonus feature at the end on that part, because you have to use the kayak, and the controls are so bad. But I'll see how quick I can get through this level and how enjoyable this level is, and then we'll see if we do a bonus at the end. So this is the button. If we press this opens up a hatch for us to get the kayak, and then where we actually come out is just, see that little waterfall just in front of Lara there? We will actually come out of there if we get the kayak. There's a couple of items that we need to get, so I'll show you where those are, and then I'll go on the normal path. And like I said, if I'm actually having fun recording this level, which so far I haven't been because I've died a lot. This is probably about the 30th time of trying to run through this level and do it in a video. So yeah, I haven't had a lot of fun with it so far. But 30th time's the charm. So hopefully, if I can do it this time, then I might enjoy it, and we can do a little bonus at the end. Anyway, the way in which I'm going now is I'm actually just going back up to the very start of the level, and the reason I'm doing that is so I can show you where where the other path is, where you can get the kayak, but also there's a couple of items that we need to grab. So I'll show you where those are, and I'll show you where the other path is. So just under here, there's a little space where we can jump and pull ourselves up. There's a couple of items in here, and down to the left, down there, this is where that button opened up. So if we drop down there, we won't be able to get back up. We'll just slide into the water, and then we'll get in the kayak, and we'll go on that other route. Like I said, I'm not going to do that though, because I will miss out on two secrets, or at least, yeah, I think there's two secrets. I think you can still get the third secret at the level, because that's quite close to the end. But there's two secrets that you miss out on if you take the kayak, so that's fine. And with this level, once you're in the kayak, there's very few places where you can actually get out of it. So there's two opportunities, so don't worry, we're not actually going to not use the kayak, although I wish we could not use the kayak in this level. But it's just going to be a bit of a longer way through the level before we get to use it. So we went off to the right before, so this time we're going to do a running jump, and we're going to grab over here and shimmy across. Now at this point, here where we could pull ourselves up, we could actually pull up and carry on with the level, but I'll just show you what's down here. So if you drop and grab again and crawl through this space, then you can actually get a health crystal or save crystal if you wanted to. But again, I'm just going to try and avoid that. I'm just going to jump across here, press this button, and all this button will do is actually let me out of this area. So I'm just going to be very careful here and just do a jump across to here, and then I'm going to jump up and carry on. So just above here is some well, climbable sort of rock. So we're going to grab this and we're going to climb across to the other side. And there's going to be quite a few places where we'll be doing this. There's a lot of parts of this level where you have to climb on different things, and you basically are holding down the action button for probably about 70% of the level. Other than when you're in the kayak, you basically hold down the action button because you're going to be climbing on things and grabbing stuff. And there's not a lot of ledges on here that are actually straight. Quite a few of the ledges are like these ones here that we're about to jump to, where when we do a running jump we're actually just going to slide down them, and then we have to hold down grab again so we catch the ledge and can shimmy across. So there's loads of points in this level where it's going to act like this, so we just need to be careful, make sure we're always grabbing and are quick on the action button. So when we get into this part here, the way in which we want to go is over to the left and through there to carry on with the level, but before we do that we need to open up that gate. So we're going to go down here first, and this is the same way, this climbable wall around us, this is what we'll be using to get back. So we're going to drop down here and then we're going to do a backflip so we get over the spikes and drop down again. Now underneath there's a little crawl space just here, it's a bit hard to see, let me just light a flare. There's a crawl space there, and that path actually only takes you to, there's no items or anything down there, there's literally a save crystal. I'll show you how you can get down that path. So basically as soon as we crawl under there there'll be a lizard that spawns, so we don't want to start crawling any further. So we want to crawl forward once, then back, Lara will stand up, then if we do a roll you can see the lizard starts running behind us. So then we're just going to run and jump up here and start shooting him. As soon as he runs off we're going to slide down, going to back up and then do a backflip. So we just want to be really careful so we don't get poisoned by him. So I'm basically just waiting for him to come back out again. As soon as he comes out I'm going to backflip back up here. Thankfully he's dead now, so then we're just going to go up here and I'll show you where the button is to open the gate. And I'll show you where that other lizard is. So there's another one just up here. So if we stand about here on the stairs, he can't actually hit us, he just keeps running around in circles. So as long as we stay really tight to him, he actually doesn't do any damage to us, and he can't even breathe, he's poison or whatever the hell it is on us. So that's the way that I usually try and take care of him. Just like I said, there's quite a few more instances where we're going to be fighting a lizard in or you know, whatever the hell they are, little dinosaur things, in a very close quarters, so you have to know how to avoid them so you don't get poisoned. Unless, of course, you know, you want to use a med pack, in which case it doesn't really matter if you get poisoned because it does so little damage, you can just cure it with a med pack. So this way, as I mentioned before, is really pointless. There's actually nothing over here other than a save crystal. You get to see a bit more of the level, so you know, you get to see where you'd go. So if we were to have taken the kayak before, we'd be coming down here. We can't actually get that health crystal or save crystal from there because of the route that we've taken, but that's fine. Like I said, I'd rather get 2 secrets than you know, grab a health crystal. There's another one over here. Like I said, this is the only reason to come over here is to get this. And when we come over here, when we jump on this bridge, you can see that there's actually a lizard that spawns. So we're just going to try and take care of him. There we go. And now we'll carry on with the level. So like I said, this way is completely pointless if you don't want the health crystal or save crystals. You can just ignore it and go back up. So we pressed that lever before over the other part. That will open that gate that we saw at the top, so we're just going to make our way back up there now. Now this part here, there's no way to get on this climbable wall, I don't believe, without taking damage, because as soon as you jump to grab it, you take a bit of damage. Now at this point, well, so far I always seem to mention it at this point anyway, taking damage in this level is, there's a lot of points where you don't really take damage, you end up just dying. There's a lot of instant death sort of parts of this level, but there is a part right at the very end, and I mean like literally right at the very end, like as soon as you're about to end the level, where you have to take force damage. So the kayak falls down like a sort of sinkhole or something. I'll show you obviously when we get to it, but then you take a lot of damage there, so you need to be really like conservative with your health, because otherwise you can get to that part of the level, and some of the guides that I've done so far, I've ended the level where I've had like, you know, 5% life. In this, you literally will end the level on that, and you have to be really conservative the whole way through the level. So it's just something we've got to think about. There's points when you're in the kayak in a bit where you take quite a bit of damage if you're not careful. So Yeah, I'm just going to have to be really careful with that around there, and obviously try and tell you the best ways to go to avoid that. Anyway, I've just gone through that gate and talked all over it. That was the gate we opened before. As soon as we come into here, we actually we get the first secret of the level. So this is the first secret. Like I said, this is the one that we'd miss if we'd have taken the kayak before. And just below us is a little lizard, so we're just going to take care of him. And then we're going to drop down because there are some MP5 clips just here. So we're going to pick these up. And then we're going to make our way back up to where we want to go, because there's nothing else down here. All that's down here is the MP5 clips and that lizard. So we're just going to climb up at this point. For speed, I'm just going to roll here and then do a running jump, and then we'll catch this ledge just above us. So we're just going to climb round and over to this part. Now, this part of the level is another really tricky part, or I find it quite tricky. If you look in front, we've got a slope ledge, and then just in front of that is a sort of pit with fire in it. Now, if you don't time your jump, not perfectly, but close to perfect, you'll end up in that fire. Lara will die, I'll have to restart the level. So basically you just want to slide down for a tiny little bit, then oh no, of course. Yeah, of course. Well, there we go. This is what happens. Okay, yeah, I'll play up to this point and I'll probably just cut it back into the video. Right, so I'm not exactly back at that spot where I was before, but what I did want to show you is just a way I've found, because I've been messing about quite a bit at this part here. I mean, you don't take too much damage when you jump into the spikes, but I was just trying things and basically trying to see if I could get around it. And if you jump about here, the wall, you can see that I actually catch the wall there and I didn't take any damage because I avoided the spikes. So that's just a little part that I just wanted to show you. Just, you know, it's like I said, it's quite tricky to do. I've died probably about 5 times actually trying to get that correct, but I just thought I'd show you that just as a way of okay, so I've just got back to this spot again now, and the only way I've found to consistently make this jump is to sort of count in your head or count out loud, just say 1,000, and then as soon as you finish that, if you press the jump button, so far it's actually worked every single time for me, so hopefully it'll work again now. So just go 1,000, jump.
Yes, science!
Yeah, it seems to work okay. Now obviously if you said the word 1,000 a bit quicker, then, you know, it might not work, but yeah, that's what's worked for me anyway. So like I said, it's worked quite a few times. Over here we've got a lizard to take care of, so we're just going to shoot him up here, and he's down. And then if we were to fall off like I've done there, you can't actually get back up to this part, so the way you have to go is back over to this side again, pull yourself out here, and then climb back onto this column or block here, and then basically do the same jump as we did before. So we're just going to go to the edge and we're just going to make the running jump over here. There we go. So now we can carry on with the level. So up here, the way to go is up here and to the right, but to the left is obviously a little item for us to collect. So it's a small med pack, so we'll grab that, and then what we're going to do is just carry on this way. Now I usually sprint at this bit because there's a blow dart trap that sort of activates when you get on one of those tiles, so just to avoid that I sprint through. Here you can jump and grab the ceiling and go down there to get that health crystal if you wanted to. There's no point in me getting it anyway, so I'm just going to carry on this way. And we're actually very close now to my favourite part of this level, which is using the kayak. And if I wasn't being sarcastic, I would say this was my very least favourite part of the level. Not just because the kayak's hard to control, but also what I've found through trying to record this video and through doing practice runs is it's not only hard for me to control, I actually find it hard to comment on what I'm doing as well as controlling the kayak as well, which sounds ridiculous because I'm doing a commentary walkthrough. But I don't know why. I just find it difficult to talk and control the kayak at the same time. Whereas I have no problem talking when I'm just, you know, running through the level, or feel like I have no problem talking anyway. So this part here, the way in which we're going to go is down that corridor, but first we want to position ourselves about here. So if I do it again, if you look at the tile or where the two tiles meet, just below Lara there. If you take one step forward and then you do a backflip and hold down grab, she should basically just slide on down into this part here. And then you get secret number 2 of the level. So the items for secret number 2 are actually over here in this hut, so we're just going to be very careful and do a running jump over to here. And then in here we've got the 2 items. So there's a large health kit and there's a rocket as well. Now we will actually get the rocket launcher a bit later in this level. I'm probably not going to use it because it's a bit, well, you don't get many rockets, to be honest. I think we've only got about 4 as it stands anyway. Let me have a look. Oh, we've only got 3 rockets, so when we get the rocket launcher we get another rocket, so we'll have 4. Which, like I said, they are very rare to find the rockets. If you get all the secrets and things, you probably get about 15 maybe in the whole of the game. But anyway, so the way in which we want to jump is to that platform there. Now it looks like we can't make it, but we can. It's just very tricky. So your natural sort of instinct would be to run straight, but if you do that, Lara will actually hit a head off that rock that's sticking out. So what I usually do is just angle Lara a bit to the left, so she's basically pointing at that rock in front of her, then run and jump and actually swerve to the right. And she should just about land on it. As you can see, it's very close. She's right on the edge there. But again, that's another tricky jump there. So they obviously really didn't want you to get that second secret, because they've not only hidden it over a, you have to do a sort of ninja style sort of backflip and then grab the ledge over there to get to the secret. You then have to do that jump on the way back. And like I said, if you didn't see that ledge or you don't know about that, then yeah, you just hit your head, fall in the water, and then unfortunately you are then dead afterwards. So this is the part that I've basically been dreading. So here is the kayak in the water in front of us. There's 2 alligators in the water, so we're just going to get rid of those first, because if we don't, then they can't hurt us in the kayak, but we need to pull a lever in the water, and they actually can hurt us while we're trying to get into the kayak as well. And the alligators in this game actually do quite a bit of damage when they bite you. It takes away at least, I think it's about 1/8 of your life. And at the moment we're still on full life, so we want to be, we want to keep this as long as we can. Because like I said, at the end of this level we will have to take some damage. So where is he? There he is. Are you going to target him? There we go. So he should die in about a second. There we go. Okay, so in the water, there's nothing else to do in here other than pull this lever, which will open the gate to let us out. Well, let us pilot the kayak out of here. And here it is. So, for anyone that hasn't played this game, used this vehicle before, it's quite tricky, as I've said a couple of times already. If you press left or right, then she moves the oar right or left, so that turns the kayak. If you press forward, she obviously starts propelling it forward, but she always does the right oar motion first, so as you can see it naturally sort of turns the kayak to the right, and then she turns it back. When you go backwards, it actually seems to keep it quite straight, so there's some parts where I do try and go backwards, but we'll see how we get on. I think that's about it with the kayak really. Other than that, you have to keep it slow as possible, because there's if you go down any sort of hill like this at speed, as soon as you drop you actually take a bit of damage, and again we want to be very conservative, want to keep as much life as possible. So over to the right over there is actually a health crystal that you can get. Again, there's no point in me going there, all you do is turn to the right there. So at this point we want to go straight, and then we just want to hold back down here just so we can slow down the kayak a little bit. This red tripwire here will actually, well, it'll do that trap there where some spikes fall down from the ceiling. And so basically any sort of red tripwire we want to avoid it if possible. That one we're not too worried about. This green sort of tripwire that we've just gone through, this will this actually turns off this trap that's that would have been here in this sort of gateway. So we need to go on that green tripwire, and basically the rule to follow is just green is good, red is bad. So if you go through a red tripwire, something bad might happen. Sometimes it's pointless, other times they're okay, other times they're bad. And if you go through a green one, then sometimes good things happen. Anyway, so the way in which you want to go is actually over to this way, and it's quite a struggle really. As you can see, the current is really pulling me back. But the reason we want to go this way, you can survive the other way, but you can't do it doing a no-meds run, because you have to basically eat like a large health pack as you fall down. So we're going this way because this is the best way to go to complete the level without taking damage. And this part is where it gets a bit tricky. Now, the way we want to go is sort of zigzag around here. So we want to go over here, but then stick to this wall. We then want to go to the right to avoid this red tripwire if we can. And then we want to slow it right the way down because we want to actually go back on ourselves now to avoid that tripwire. And then we want to go forward. So that's the best way I've found of doing it. I know I did that quite quick there. Believe me, that wasn't intentional. That was just me getting lucky, really. I don't want to go down this way because I will take some damage. So I want to try and make my way back up here. And I want to go through here if I can. Like I said, as soon as you hit something you end up... Okay, so we're going backwards now, which probably isn't the best. Where's the spikes? I think there's some spikes behind me, so I want to stick... Yeah, there's some spikes coming up just behind me, so I want to stick over this side first. Just to avoid those, and then I want to turn the kayak because I want to go over this side. Okay, I took a bit of damage, that's okay. And then I want to go back to this wall to avoid these spikes, if I can. There we go. And that is basically everything I've been dreading. Like I said, I did that quite well then, to be honest. I'm quite impressed, because usually I mess up a lot more than that. We took about a quarter of our life, which isn't bad at all. Now this area here, where you've sort of got this plug in the middle, the objective of the whole level is basically to get that plug removed, and then we have to sail the kayak down. It creates like a vortex, we have to sail into there. So the way in which we need to get out the kayak, obviously, so the location we need to go to is up these white water rapids here. Now you can see there's a bit of a current that's pulling me back, so it's going to take us a bit longer to get over to here. But what's strange about these rapids here is as soon as she gets on them, she actually starts going quite quick up them, which is interesting because she actually goes faster up these than she goes down some of the other ones. Just, yeah. Physics was not a strong point when it came to developing this game, obviously. And in this area here, if I hadn't messed up there... Come on, go forward, come on. This is the easy part usually, I don't usually mess up here. So, this part here we can actually park up the kayak and get out of it. Now we've just got to be careful because there's Mr. Alligator there, he's ready to eat us. So what we're going to try and do is bait him down to the bottom of the water. So we're just going to sit down here a little bit. Hopefully he should come down. Oh, he's just sort of disappeared, and then we're going to climb out. Now as soon as we get out of this water, you want to jump up to here because there's going to be a lizard that spawns. And we just want to get in close proximity of him so he can't breathe poison on us. There we go. Then we want to take care of this alligator just so we don't forget about him later, because we will have to come back to this area in a bit and get in the kayak. So we're just gonna, for some reason he wants to die, he just wants to swim into the wall, so we'll take care of him, which is nice. And then we're going to carry on with the level. So this part of the level's not too tricky. The main problem I have with it is just that it's quite a long sort of run. You're basically climbing across this ceiling throughout the whole of these underwater caverns and caves or whatever they are. So basically you've just got to hold the action button a lot and just make sure you keep it held down. You've also got these fire traps that are coming up, so I'll show you how I sort of avoid those. Again, this level seems to do this quite a bit, where it has like traps and things like that, where it's actually hard to predict where you've got to be to get around them. So usually I stop about here, I think it is, just at the edge of this slope. As soon as you see the fire sort of disseminate a bit, you can then start moving forward. So again, same here, just try and get as close as we can. As soon as it looks like it's going to stop, run through and just hope you get through. That was close. So when we get to the end here, we're just going to go over to the left. There's a platform we can drop down onto, and then we need to make a jump. Now, unfortunately here, or anywhere here, you can't land in the water. If you are to fall in the water at any point in time here, then the current will just pull you. Will pull you back to rapids, and then you just die straight away. So made that jump. Not a hard jump, just a normal double jump. And then over here we've just picked up the rocket launcher. So I'll just show you that. There we go. So we might get to use that a bit later. There's an even better weapon that we get in the next level, which I'm going to be using to kill the boss at the end. Well, the next level is basically just a boss level. There is a secret, and the secret in it we're 100% going to get because it gives us a really powerful weapon. I think it's the most powerful weapon in the game. So we're going to use that to take care of the end of level boss. Over here, we're just going to do a running jump. Now this is quite a tricky, or it can be tricky. So if you were actually to run jump to where those magnet MP5 shells are, ammo, whatever you want to call them, you will actually not be able to grab that ledge there because it's sloped. It's really strange the way they did it. And again, it's just something to trick you basically. But if you run and jump and aim over here and grab this white part, then you can grab it and you get secret number 3. So this is the third final secret in the level, thankfully, and it means that we are quite close to the end. But yeah, we're not at the woods yet. There's still quite a few tricky bits to do. And again, when we're jumping back, we're just aiming for this white part over here. It's close. I thought I was going to fall off then. So which we're going to go is just over to here. And we're going to climb up. And basically what we're doing now is we're making our way over to, there's sort of a building that we need to get into, and there's a lever we can pull in there, and that will then drain that main pool in that area where we saw the plug hole, or that plug in the bottom of the water. So we're going to find that lever now, and then we're going to pull it and drain that water so we can finish the level. So climbing on the roof here again, just holding down action, trying not to slip off the controller. And if you go to the left here, there's 2 items you can get, some flares and some shotgun shells. So we'll go and grab those first, and then we'll make our way back the other way because that's the way we need to go. So here we have the shotgun shells, and behind me are some flares, so I'll pick those up as well. Because flares are always nice to have anyway. Particularly in the next series of levels, so after I've completed these ones, the South Pacific ones, I'll be moving on to doing the London levels, which I think I mentioned it in the first level of South Pacific in Coastal Village video, where I said that those London levels are actually like some of my favourite levels in the game. I don't know why though, they just are. But yeah, you really do need flares for them because the first 2 levels particularly are really quite dark. Well, you either get flares or you just turn the brightness up on your monitor or on the game or whatever. So come to this bit here, and then we want to do a running jump over to here. Now this part of the level, as you can see, there's this waterfall. Now before, when I came down, I think it was one of the first waterfalls, and I said we really want to go to the right. We can go to the left, but we'd have to use a large health kit. This is basically what happens if you go down the left. There's a big drop there, so you take damage there. You then take damage from these spikes, and then you also take damage from these. So like I said, if you are using meds and whatever, you can come this way in the kayak, and it's a lot quicker than the way that I had to go in the end, but you do take a lot of damage. So we're just doing a running jump over to this wall, grab this, and then we're going to make our way up. So we're basically going to climb up this waterfall now and go to the top. So again, there's quite a bit of climbing in this level. Well, quite a bit of this sort of scaling of walls and things like that. Lara's obviously pretty good at rock climbing because she can basically climb on any surface without ropes. As long as I'm holding down the action button, she just doesn't lose her grip whatsoever. So I believe this first ledge here that I'm coming to, I think if you actually, I think that's the one that's just below me now. I think that was actually put there to trick people, because I believe if you actually drop off on that, you end up sliding off and dying, or falling in the water and then eventually dying. So I think that's just another way of the developers just putting in a trap without putting in a trap, basically. Right, at this part here, I need to be careful, because last time I got to this part I ended up just falling off and dying. So we're just going to slowly go down here. Now at this point you can see a boulder in front of us. There's actually two boulders that are going to come. So what we're going to do is we're going to sprint forward. Not walk, we're going to sprint. And then when we get here we're just going to crouch down, let that boulder roll over the top of us. And then we're basically just going to do the same again. We're going to sprint forward to here, crouch down, and the boulder should just roll over the top. Now when we climb out of here there's going to be another boulder that's going to spawn behind us. So we're going to do a run. We're just going to make a jump over to here, and then we're going to stop, because there's a fire in front of us. And again at this part we want to be very careful, so we're just going to dive over this fire, and then we're going to crouch. No! Oh, I don't like dying. Okay, I really don't want to do this, but I'm glad I got back to that point. So what I'm going to do, I'll reload the game, reload the level even, and I'll play back up to this point and I'll cut it into the video. Okay, so I'm finally back at this point again. I think I've died about 3 or 4 times just trying to get here. And basically all I wanted to do was that, just do a normal jump over the fire. Nothing crazy. For some reason I did a swan dive. It looked cool, but then obviously I got crushed by the boulder, so it was pretty stupid. Yeah, I was just a bit annoyed with myself because I thought I'd done okay in the run so far. If we have a look at my life then, so now we're on about... We did a little bit worse. I mean, the last run that I did up until that point, that's one of the best runs I've ever done this level, to be honest. Didn't lose hardly any life. Done good this time. Haven't lost much life, but you know, there's always room for improvement. So at this part here, I usually just drop down and let her just grab the wall and shimmy across, because for some reason she shimmies across the wall a lot quicker than she does with the when she's got all 4 well, her arms and her legs. I was going to say all 4 legs on the wall then. All 4 of her limbs on the wall. Takes her a lot longer to sort of traverse it, so yeah, usually just drop down, shimmy, save a little bit of time. At this point we're getting very close to the end of the level. We've got a couple more jumps to make, and then we can then we should be at that lever that I mentioned earlier where we can pull it and drain the water down below. So just want to make a running jump over to here, and then we want to do just a standing jump over to the zip wire. Now we can go and get the health crystal if we want. All it is a running jump over to there, running jump back. Obviously we're not going to get it because we don't want to refill our life any more than it already is. And then we're going to just drop down into here. Now if you look below us, this is that that body of water, that room that I showed you earlier in the kayak, which is where we need to drain the water from. So above here is a lever, and that'll activate the that'll pull like the plunger out and then drain that water below us. But first, when we get up here, as I mentioned earlier, there are actually 2 lizards that we've got to fight in quite sort of close quarters. So again, what we're going to do is just going to get up close and personal with them, and yeah, just try and kite them around a bit. And when we come over here, because this gate's still locked at the moment, the lizard actually just pokes his head through the gate and crawls out, which is quite funny. So we've got him here again. We're just going to keep kiting him around until he dies, basically just pump him full of lead. And then we'll go over here, and there's the lever that we can pull, and this will activate the pump below us. So you get this lovely noise, which is like a classic water draining noise in this Tomb Raider game, because there's another level or 2 where we have to drain water and we get the same noise. And then if we slide down here, you'll see we're in the room we were in before where we parked the kayak, so we're going to grab that now. So obviously I've played up to this point a couple of times now. I think it's about 3rd or 4th time I've got to the end. I actually did a practice run earlier where I literally got right to the end and I was I don't know, about like a millimetre of life under what I should have been, and ended up dying at the end, so I had to redo the whole thing. But you know, it just proves that you do need to be very conservative with your life. But since I've been playing it, I actually quite enjoy that climbing part of the level. I don't enjoy the kayak still, unfortunately, but I do enjoy the whole bit that we did before where we climb around and it takes you on like a tour of the different rooms. Anyway, this part here, what we want to do is basically just get as close to the bottom of this as we can and constantly slowing down the kayak. So as soon as we build up any speed, we're just going to press forward. Just going to keep pressing forward, and then we should drop in. Now we've taken quite a bit of damage, but it should be okay. There's actually an alligator in this water here, so we want to be careful when we get out. We just want to try and avoid him as best we can. Oh, we've taken a bit of damage. I say we've taken a bit of damage, we've taken a lot of damage. I actually don't have a life bar anymore. Now, I'll be okay taking care of this alligator, but in a second there's actually 2 alligators that I've got to take care of, so this is not going to be fun. I think Lara can actually outswim them, but we'll see. So I need to open this. Then I need to turn round and climb out very quickly. There we go. I should be all good now. So I've managed to finish the level when I can't even actually see my health bar. This just proves how difficult this level is, I think. Or how difficult it is for me, anyway. Just take care of this last alligator. Now, I don't believe there's anything in the water. I'll just have a quick little look around, just because, you know, I want to make this video even longer, because it hasn't been long enough already. And, yeah, when you get to this point, it's a nice feeling. You can breathe a sigh of relief, because you know that as soon as you go through this door here, you've completed this level. So, there we go. Unfortunately, we don't get a cutscene for our troubles. It took me 30 minutes to do that level, and that was with me trying to do it quick as well, so it's definitely not a short level. And, yeah, it's definitely not an easy level either. Yeah, so I didn't use a health pack, health kit, whatever. Took 30 minutes, got all the secrets, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, thanks so much for watching. This has been a difficult video to do. It's a very difficult level. It's taken me a long time to actually get this done, so I'm so happy that I've actually finished it now. And hopefully I won't have that much trouble with the next level, because it's quite a short one. Like I said, it's just a boss level. So, like I said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.